I mean, yeah, I'm native Mammoth Press, but I got frickin' Boxy and Mike of Mortal Review at my Multicade. I think it's pretty common for a lot of people, especially creative people, to go back in their memories and dig up specific events or people that unexpectedly kind of entered their lives and planted a seed that would kind of direct them in different directions they hadn't considered before. To, I don't know, maybe a new career or different creative venture that you never considered. I myself knew since I was very young that I wanted to be an artist. I had no idea how or what I would do with it. Didn't even know if it was possible. But I was influenced enough, and I had enough artistic ability and, artistic influence that was just who I was. But I also loved music. Now, I didn't ever consider being a musician. In fact, I didn't think that was possible. I listened to a lot of music, a lot of heavy music. But the idea of being a guitarist, for example, was just not something that was on my radar. I thought that was something that was reserved for other people. Or like a higher level even. I just saw them as if you were a good musician, you weren't walking amongst the normies. You were on another level. Until I was about 13. I started going to church. A friend of mine had invited me to come to church. I ended up spending a lot of time there and met some really interesting people. But it was there that I met really technically my first guitarist. And he had the look, he had the style, he had the guitar chops. Most importantly, he could play and avidly did play the music that I actually liked listening to. And it kind of connected dots with me like, oh, wait, that can be done by, I'd say, normal people. I mean, I still looked up to him and I kind of, I respected his skill. But he was the closest to a Kirk Hammett that any of us had ever met. And more importantly, he was kind enough to talk to us and actually answer questions. And he was kind of a major seed that was planted in me that maybe I could learn to play guitar. Maybe I could actually play music and not just enjoy it. So fast forward 25 years or so, and I'm actually in a band with my brother-in-laws. This is actually my third band, but we're actually starting to kind of make headway in the local music scene. But along with us, we palled around with a band called As Shadows Collapse, the vocalist of which was a dude named Travis Box. Now, everybody in this band was equally great, equally talented. Like, they were all, again, extremely kind people, just all smiles and just nothing but energy. But being in a position where, like, okay, I learned guitar, I'm in a band, we're playing music, and then to see another band do what professionals do, like big budget professionals do on a tiny stage here locally in town, with just as much energy, just as much passion and love, and commanding the stage and commanding the crowd and just fully entertaining to that maximum entertainer professional extent. That was another major turning point for me to understand that, okay, so this can be achieved. Like, normal people like myself can learn this stuff. And so these were two very influential people from complete opposite ends of my timeline, right? That influenced me in some really positive ways that later on, through kind of a maelstrom of circumstance and some bad stories from what I understand, completely different ends, somehow Mike and Travis would find their way together, creating like another unstoppable force called Mortal Review. Now, what does this mean for the channel? Well, it just so happens that both Mike and Travis are big fans of classic arcade games and retro console games. So you can imagine it's an honor for me to have both Travis and Mike here at the Mammoth Multicade to play Alien vs. Predator.
Chaos follows, no life for stagnation.
All right.
Helen Hunt.
Quarters are on me, gentlemen.
Awesome. Button. Oh. I'm the hunter. Shotgun.
Oh, yeah.
Kurosawa.
Alright.
Well, there is 3 buttons. Sorry. Your top button is a jump, and you can dart across the screen by holding over, and you can pick up pizzas because predators are all about pizzas and hamburgers.
They were stuck on a Ninja Turtle game. They was like, put them in. Predators like pizza. I like how the human character, or the guy, the like cybernetic kind of enhanced man, he's kind of a reference to Dutch's character or something like that. From the first Predator.
Okay, so it's not completely obscure.
Yeah, it was.
The arm. And
I'll see if I can play as him for a second here in a little bit once I die. It'll happen.
You can switch to him. Okay.
Alright, where are we down? Oh, Speedy.
So I admit, like, my knowledge of Alien and Predator is a little, since I was a kid, and I mean, I didn't follow the comics, I didn't really get into the real lore. But I don't remember the aliens being so dumb, and in fact, I kind of figured that the aliens would overwhelm the Predators pretty easily. I thought, is that canon, or am I mistaken?
Alien vs. Predator, I don't think is considered canon to the whole Alien franchise at all. I think it kind of takes on its own little thing. It's more like it started off as like a comic book series, where it, just wanted to kind of combine it, and then they got that wink in Predator 2, where you see like the Xenomorph skull in the ship.
Yeah,
and that was kind of like a nod to the comics, and everyone was like, oh my god! And they released a few video games, just kind of based on the comics a little bit, and then they finally had that movie with the dude who directed like Mortal Kombat and everything like that. I'm gonna say yes, and I'm gonna select Time to Hunt. Wow! Yeah! I think you need to insert another coin there, Mike. And then press third.
Yeah, just spam them.
Stir. Why isn't that sturdy? There you go.
Because they're too busy showing her certain, like, celebrating.
Alright, I am Schaefer. Was Dutch Schaefer? Was it Dutch Schaefer in there? I don't know.
It's Jay Schaefer, isn't it? Major Schaefer, okay.
Oh, I got a howitzer or something. Yeah.
So in this, the premise for this game is that right now the Predators are helping the humans deal with an alien invasion.
Humans and Predators teaming up.
Right. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was also something that they've always kind of like wanted to do. Also, was like this. Like I remember there was like this want to do like this really badass woman character that was kind of like had Predator armor and stuff like that. And they wanted to see how they kind of do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Which they kind of achieved in the movie. The first movie is good.
Yeah.
You hear that second movie? You suck. Sucks that movie. Requiem sucks.
You're gonna get so many comments.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Requiem sucks, and you can fight me on it. I don't think anybody's gonna be like, no, you're wrong.
Travis's views do not represent that.
You know what? I'm in no position to
represent the opinions of Mammoth Press.
We knew what this was.
Yeah, we knew what it was getting into. It's schlock. Let's deal with it. I want them to make another one.
Yeah, I like Prometheus. I mean, at least, it was interesting.
Covenant was good. It's nice and gory.
So what was the interest of the Predators? Did they have a long-standing thing with Alien, or was it like, oh, these are actually hunters that are worth hunting?
I actually kind of like the way they did it in the first movie, because they kind of made it like it was like an ancient so if you just like completely forget all the Prometheus stuff, like the Prometheus timeline, it kind of says that like the predators I just say suplex him. What the fuck? Alright, but like it was like kind of like they were like an ancient kind of like a trial for the predators. Like these things, they would use humans as sacrifices, and they would breed xenomorphs, and the predators would hunt them as their rite of passage, and they were like the gods to us, and everything. Showed us how to make pyramids and everything. And I just thought that was really cute.
That is cool.
So there was some kind of like an ancient rivalry, and if they got overwhelmed, they would use their bomb. That would just blow everything up. Just boistous.
Okay. Because this story takes a pretty wicked turn.
Right.
I don't know how many quarters you guys had to... I don't know if you actually finished this game. That's part of the fun of doing these, is that we can actually see what they look like.
I think it's fairly quick to beat.
Yeah, it's not long.
Yeah.
None of these were. They were just
I actually had a lady friend like play it on like my Super Famicom, or not my Super Famicom, my Super Retrocade thing that I bought.
Yeah.
Because I put the ROM on there. And she beat through it like nothing, and I was like, wow, I remember this game being kind of longer. But back then we had to use quarters.
Right. It's a little longer when you had to go beg somebody for more quarters. You had somebody on point to like hit the reset button so you can go and get more quarters.
That was our equivalent to asking mom to play with her cell phone back in the day.
Any games on there? And then you got the older siblings that just told the younger siblings, you don't touch anything. You just keep pumping quarters into it.
Were you a younger sibling?
No, I was an only child.
Oh.
Hence the cool stuff. I was spoiled.
Yeah.
No, I actually have a siblings. I have a brother and a sister, but they were from our dad's first marriage, and they were like 10 and 12 years older than me. So they were practically grown ass adults by the time I came into the picture.
I like how some of who did this? Was this Capcom? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was Capcom.
You can even see like some of the whenever the burning body flies off.
Well, I mean yeah.
Like
I figured that she was a variation of.
Oh yeah. Very dull seeing flame.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that the models in this are pretty awesome. I think like the drawing of it, and it holds up pretty well.
That's good.
The combat is cool. You find the guns.
See, like when,
criminal that this never got a port.
You know, like people talk about like Simpsons or the X-Men or something like that. Yeah. This is one that always holds true with me. It's always one of my favorites to go back and play.
This is Sunset Riders, like
Sunset Riders.
Oh yeah,
Sunset Riders. I played it on Genesis, and I played it in an arcade in a KOA campground when I lived in a campground for the first year that my parents.
See, when it was at arcades when I was young, everybody was like super jerks and wouldn't let me get on the system, so like I didn't actually get to play them until the console. You know? Right.
That's actually a pretty common story. Like, and I even asked, like, how often on the 4-player games did you actually play with people you knew? And they're like, never.
Never.
And there's always that one dick that just knew everything, and he ordered everybody else around to do things and
do this thing,
do that thing. It's a secret. Like, no, it's not. It's not. You're not fooling me. But okay, we'll try it.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually, one big thing about doing the series already, it's just doing the episodes, is that I get to actually play the game with people I like, who actually know what they're doing, which isn't really that much to ask. It's just, it makes a difference.
Right. Grenade! 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 Jesus. Grenade! Wait, it was, ow! Lasers hurts!
We both have an interesting story that, as far as how we've all met. But Mike, I remember you from quite a while. I think I was in like junior high. Because back then, I had a friend who kept nagging me to go to church with him. Oh, shit. And it turned out to be okay, because actually I met some really cool people, and I got to do some really cool things. Churchy stuff aside, it was a great experience for me.
Yeah.
But there was this kid, and he wasn't really a kid, he was older kid, that didn't talk much, had really wicked sweet hair, wore a lot of cool like metal t-shirts, and kind of exposed us to some Marilyn Manson and stuff and the like. Didn't really talk much, but he could play a mean fucking guitar. He was the closest that most of us can think that to Kirk Hammett that we would probably ever meet. And it sounds funny, but I'm serious. That's it was as long as it was. Let's see, what is it, like 25 years, 20 years, 25 years ago,
25 years ago,
20 some years ago. Yeah. So like. So, and I don't know who you were personally. I don't really know where you were in your life, but I mean, I knew you were people you hung out with at church. But even though you were soft spoken and you had, this like, ooh, he's a badass, metalhead. You were always very kind.
Well, thank you.
And it was one of those things that, if anybody if people knew who you were, people were like, oh yeah, the guitarist, yeah, that guy. The cool hair? Yeah, that guy. Like, if anybody asked you anything about guitar, you were more than happy to explain or talk to them.
Oh, yeah.
And you were, and that was important because, it's, we, like I said, it was the closest to someone with, I don't know, like he's gonna do things. He's gonna do cool things. So you're practically seeing a celebrity before he's a celebrity. And I know that sounds, gushy, but it's at the same time, like, we had so many questions.
Right.
And sure enough, you were happy to answer them. And
wait a minute, you were the guy in that story? Oh my god!
That was that guy.
Bah, bah, bah!
And now you know the rest of the story.
We'd have, at camp, we would have
20 years later.
We'd have talent shows.
Oh, right.
And this guy would walk up with his guitar, and he goes, all right, so there's this thing that I've been working on, whips his hair back. And some of us were like, oh my god, he's amazing. And others were like,
so anyway,
fucking dick.
Here's Wonderwall.
Right.
Here's Wonderwall. Yeah, absolutely.
And people tried it. He actually handed his guitar to people to let them play on it. And I'm like, I wouldn't do that. And I didn't even own a guitar at the time.
Oh, we're hitting humans now.
I actually do remember that distinctly.
I'm like, whoa, dude, come on.
I showed him, like, tit for tat to him, like, this is how you do it.
And then for the next 2 days, at least, you had people lined up just to like, can you do that again? Can you teach me? I can teach you, but do you want to learn, or do you just want to see me do it?
That's really funny. That's really funny that he was in church like, you check out Manson, man.
No, that was the thing about
typo negative and shit.
Right.
Well, I remember going to like a church camp.
The first Slipknot album came out that year. Yeah, and that was the first time I saw it. I was like, who are those freaking weird, crazy people with the masks and everything? It was shocking.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, Bellevue bragged about being the guys, having the youth group that was different than everybody else because just come as you are, we don't care. And he came as he was, man. And I don't know if you did it just to kind of test their nerve, or if that was who you were.
No, it was Dane. Dane was the one that tested it. He's like, how much crazy shit can I really, really do?
Right.
Shout out to Dane.
Yeah.
I remember them showing a picture of Marilyn Manson around church camp and saying, "This is what's wrong with America."
He were probably, and people, I'm sure, I don't know how, like, everyone that I knew, everyone that I cared about, they were like, I don't know that much about that guy, but I bet he's pretty cool. Like, I don't know why. It's like, who goes to church with a shirt like that? That guy. But I don't know what your experiences were there from there, but that was one of the biggest memories that I carried from there. So much so that here I am playing guitar myself in a metal band myself at a couple places. Actually, there's a few shows where I'm just walking through the crowd after, and we were openers, so nobody was really there for us. I think there was one that was Order of Elijah. That we did a show with them. We did a few shows with you guys. You guys headlined a few of the shows that we opened for.
Yeah.
And then, sure enough, at some point in the night, there you were, just walking through the crowd, just hanging out. And I'm like, holy shit!
He's making moves.
Like he's still here. He's still alive. I was like, does he still play? And for some reason, even though I knew that you were,
grenades!
I was afraid to walk up and talk to you. Still, I don't know why.
No reason.
Well, no.
Nope.
No.
No.
It was just, you were there, you were talking with so many other people. I mean, you were part of the scene. You knew the scene. So it was,
I'm still pretty much the same way. I'm like super quiet until you approach me, and then I'm like, oh, hey. Hi.
Oh, hey.
Hi. Oh, hi.
It was just cool to see you again. From a distance, I was like, fucking right on. Like, it was just good to see you.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Yeah. And then sure enough, here we were, with Shadows Collapse was a big deal. It's a huge influence to a lot of the music scene in the area. Like, they were the band that should have been signed.
Yeah.
We just didn't understand why they weren't. like there was you won competition after competition after competition. You traveled. You recorded in other states, even or you did a music video.
We mostly recorded in Joplin, honestly.
No, so did we. That's where we ended up. But no, I mean, you went and did the video in Florida, in Orlando.
Yeah, Florida.
And we're like, oh, okay, that's it. We're never gonna see him again. And I don't know, man. You guys just deserved more.
It was always. I mean, it was always like a priority thing, man. Like a lot of. That's just kind of what happens whenever life goes on. Like, I think a lot of them. I think like we saw like a lot of things about like how people that are on tour. I think it kind of scared like some of them too. Like, you know, living on the road is not easy.
You guys seem so prepared for it, like you were, like it was supposed to happen, and you just kept getting, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm just overthinking it, but no, and that's, you guys were the stage presence, the energy, like how tight you were, just every new song was amazing. I mean, it was just, there was no reason, and you guys put so much energy, so much effort, and money into what you guys were doing. Like, it just didn't make sense.
That was mostly Matt, man. Matt we all chipped in, but Matt, like,
yeah,
that was like his baby. And then he actually started having babies and became a homeowner and all that other stuff like that.
He's doing a YouTube series.
He was so smart about everything that he did.
He's been on YouTube doing hunting and fishing.
Yeah, I've been
checking him out, and it's like, I'm not a big hunter, but it's like, I don't know, man.
Did you know or Dusty that got their license for, what was it, taxidermy? One of them was like a licensed taxidermy.
Really? I don't even know that.
Yeah, one of them got, I can't remember if it was Matt or Dusty, but I think one of them got, like, licensed for taxidermy now. I saw that, like, last week or the week before. I was like, oh, wow.
I still hear from him every once in a great while. Like, I still talk to Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
he actually hit me up not long ago.
All good dudes. Hi, Shermans. What's up?
Yeah.
What's up, Shermans?
Shout out to the Shermans.
JD was like, okay, remember what you saw them doing? All the cool jumps and the movements they were doing? We need to do that. Like, okay, JD, let's practice.
Stage presence. Yeah, I definitely did pay. Like, that was something we did focus on a lot in the earlier days, too. And, like, I think that was also something, like, we were all, like, a lot of us, like, we were pretty young, so we were thinking that certain stuff mattered. Yeah. You know, it was always like, we need to focus on this, now we need to focus on this, or,
right.
You know, and it's kind of that weird thing whenever you first start doing music and you think you have to emulate certain things instead of just doing your own thing.
Right. So this is going to be a personal question, and I hope you're not offended by me asking this.
Sure.
But you went through a major transformation, and you lost a shit ton of weight.
Yeah.
And I think, oh yeah, this is one of those.
Yeah, got it all back, baby.
And I was curious, what was it that did you feel? Was it a personal thing?
Oh, it was mostly just because Sumerian Records pretty much said I was too fat.
That was the
for the Battle of the Bands. Like
that was the rumor, and I was
we were gonna like go to the final round. Like one of the representatives said that we were going, and then they wrote us we were actually got pretty excited, and then like one of the representatives actually like wrote us back, just basically saying, hey. And it was worded a lot nicer than this. Like honestly, like I mean, it was a pretty honest letter. But he pretty much said it's kind of hard to market, you know, like a plus size singer and everything like that. And they said that they even knew like if they would have brought like a band with like a fighter lead singer like on like to the finals, like they would have gotten their ass chewed. Because they had pretty much the letter said that like a singer has to look fit and be in shape to an extent and everything like that. And
I'm sorry, man.
They were like no, it was cool. They pretty much, he was like very like, you know, I can help you with this, you know, I've dropped a lot of weight too myself, man, you know, and everything like that. And it's pretty nice for something that's very hard to talk about, like to somebody, like to be honest and everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is everyone can just assume that, you know, it's the industry,
right.
It's nothing on them to be assholes, but it does speak in volumes that you're able to be like, well, there was some humanity to it.
Right.
And but that's still heartbreaking.
Yeah, like after we got that letter, like Matt showed it to me, and I was like, oh, okay, let's join the gym. So Matt was pretty much my my personal trainer for like a good that whole year, And then we actually got to go to the finals again for the next year, so that was pretty good. Kind of blew them away too because it was like a lot of weight in a really short time.
Yeah,
people were really scared about me for a second.
It was. I barely recognized you, and I kept saying it, but it's just like, dude, I walked right by you constantly.
Yeah.
I would be like,
my mom walked by me and didn't recognize me. My mother walked right by me, and it really upset her too. Like she actually started crying about it because she was like, "Oh my god,
like you just got like face tattoos or something."
Yeah, she like just completely just like looking for me, walking by. And I was like, "Hey, mom, what's going on?"
Well, still, I think it's incredible.
Yeah,
and I commend you for, just your tenacity and just the fact that you took it the way you did. You're like,
right.
Fuck them, and then because that's the story.
Well, yeah.
When it does happen, you guys, hit it. That's going to be the story that they're going to be interviewing for.
And
that's the story they're going to want you to spin. Like, I said, fuck them, take this, and like, lost all the weight.
It was never ever like that. Like, they were very respectful, and they even complimented me quite a bit. But that is the truth of, music industry and everything like that. You have to be able to sell your image. You have to be a networker, an influencer, as well as, like, a musician. Like, you just can't do one of those things.
I understand.
Yeah, like Finn McKenty. I don't know. Do you ever watch Finn McKenty stuff? Like,
no,
the Punk Rock NBA.
Punk Rock NBA. He's got some really good, interesting views. Just kind of like going on about like some people's star power. Like they have the look, they have the charisma, they have the talent. Some people might have it
like business sense or
right, and they might have it prioritized a different way. Maybe they got all talent and some looks and some charisma. Right. Maybe they got all charisma and their talent's maybe not the greatest, but they still know how to sell themselves. Like,
and that's something that and I don't know if it kind of reminds me at least of when I was trying to get into the comic industry, before I self-published my stuff. Actually, I have my first image rejection letter there on the wall.
Frame that.
Which actually is really sweet because when they told me that when I submitted my book, I'm like, hey, here it is. I know you said don't give us hard copies because we can't guarantee you'll get it back. And, I did it anyway. So I'm like, here, you can keep it, you can have it. But sure enough, it went through several hands.
Right.
And they took the bookmark and they kept all the stuff I added with it. And they actually paid to send it back to me. And he's like, this is actually really good. I'm reading it online as we speak after flipping through the book. It's just not really something that we do. But might I recommend self-publishing? And I'm like, okay, so that was, so it's not
bittersweet.
It is bittersweet. And he didn't have to look at, and then
but to even get the time of day from people that you respected to have some sort of feedback.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was something.
I guess that was kind of like, it's not really my thing. It's kind of like, you're kind of big,
And that was also something that was in the letter too. Like whenever we read it, they was like, if you make these adjustments, I don't think there's anything that your band can accomplish.
Yeah.
So they were still pretty. God damn it. They were still pretty supportive about it. Like, you guys put on a good show.
Yeah.
So it's always nice that they're just not, fuck you. Yeah.
And I admit that my scope of professionalism is rather askew, but it's just, whether it was Mike when I was a teenager going like, you can do that? You can play that? To people actually performing on stage and showing how it's done, how to entertain a crowd of people, how to command a stage and get people involved and be like, and here's the important thing: being a metal band that's just full of energy and just makes you feel good. Like they're just a bunch of just all smiles, all of you. And that was a big deal. Like just like when the Seven Dust album that I have on vinyl on the wall there. That's actually the art where I loved Seven Dust when I was a kid. And, I mean, just diehard Seven Dust fan. And sure enough, the artist who did that artwork and also does a lot of work for Avenged Sevenfold is named David Frizzell. He lives here in Springfield. And sure enough, I've become pretty good friends with the guy. And,
nice.
I mean, it's his signature on it and everything. LeJohn lives in Kansas City, I think, now. So what I'm saying is, I saw that album in particular when I was a kid, back when they sold CDs, because back in the day, they used to sell CDs and albums, in stores.
Physical media.
Yeah.
Physicals.
And here I am browsing through the metal section, and there's all these really dark and brooding and, just evil looking, whatever you want to call it. Evil's not really the word for it, but
Sinister.
But yeah, you don't see a lot of brightly colored
you guys. That was me.
That was you.
Awesome.
And so I saw that album, and then sure enough, it would influence me later with the Gravetender album. I used white and red instead of like black and gray and black. So that and then sure enough, I'd meet the guy who inspired it, and I don't know. It's weird how the universe sings to you sometimes.
Oh yeah.
So for the two of you to end up working together in the same project, like a little bit of the old, like young inspired Nate and the new inspired Nate, like I'm like, oh my god. So sorry if it's a little thick, but it's a big deal. That,
all right.
It's a big deal to me that you guys are here. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Well, got in touch with Mike, just been like, hey, heard you guys were doing some stuff. You got the new stinger?
Just like that? What's this in text? Did you read it this way?
It's very close to that.
That's pretty much how that was worded, too.
Just like, what do you got going on?
You got Peter Griffin on the phone wanting to audition? Pretty metal.
Got an idea for a song called Handful of Peter.
Okay, so I would say my favorite game of all time is Pac-Man, and that chalks up to like me and my mom in like the 80s being at like laundromats and like bus and gas stations and shit that had like Centipede and Pac-Man and that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Oh!
So there's like a personal...
Oh!
Go
Yeah.
Got gory!
Yeah. They just shot the whole budget right there.
Yeah.
There goes our teen rating.
Any hopes of a sequel?
Better do it on the very last fight, right?
Yes, Queen! Oh my god!
Yes.
Yes! Get it, bitch! Sorry.
So I haven't explained it already. Travis is a vocalist.
Alright. I'm a vulgarist. So sorry if this is supposed to be a friendly family channel.
You know, I hadn't decided, and well, I mean,
we're gonna maybe just edit a few things.
But I've said it enough already that I'm too lazy to edit that.
Is that the final? That was the final, I think.
Is that the final one? Did we
saved.
our damage?
Some snacks.
Maybe read a book later.
Imagine what Obi's doing.
He's like, what the shut up? M-V-H.
See, not what I thought.
Can I put a score in? No, fuck
I think
me.
it wanted me to earlier, and I just made it. I was like, no, let me back in.
I'm taking my 14th place, guys.
Does it save scores?
Huh?
Nice.
Yep.
So I put it in there. You gotta remember that I was here, that I made 14th place.
You're gonna have to show me how to get this and get this interface and everything like that because you got a souvenir. That's nice. They left him with.
Here, I pulled this from my spleen. Wow, what a badass! He's probably bleeding out
by
as
the way,
we speak.
now that we're done fighting with each other.
No, I'm just fucking with you. Take him out, Paul. So there you have it. Alien vs. Predator in its entirety. I hope you enjoyed the walking through and playing with us. More importantly, I hope that you enjoyed listening to Mike and Travis as we kind of went down memory lane. A little bit of insight in the music industry as we know it. So much content in this episode. I know it's a bit longer than I kind of feel comfortable with, to be honest, but I cut out so much already, and there's even more to come, so they will be back in future episodes. In the meantime, I'm going to post all the links that you need to follow Travis and Mike with Mortal Review at Bandcamp and on Instagram and even Spotify. You can get all their album information, both digital and physical compact disc for you old people. All their t-shirts and merch, anything you need. I'm going to provide links for you to follow them, and then look forward to them coming back. Again, thank you for being involved in the show. Thank you for sharing it and keeping things moving for me. Please like, share, and subscribe. That's a thing now, right? Anyways, till next time.